Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. One of our community members who joined us in many courses in Meaningful Mornings, he passed away on Sunday. And today, at our ashram, we are going to have a celebration of life, a ceremony to celebrate his life, all those he communed with. I've been invited to facilitate this celebration, this ceremony. And so what I will be doing is I will be explaining some of the verses of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, what we immersed ourselves in, that shares the body comes and goes, the spirit stays. When one feels that, they celebrate. And furthermore, we will chant Vishnu Sahasranama, which is the experience of one who is feeling that they are Sri Krishna, that they are the spirit. When they feel this, everything in them and around them is Bhagavan Vishnu. Vishnu Sahasranama is the words of the one who is enlightened. Both the Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Sahasranama are contained within the text, the scripture that is known as Jaya. If you remember in January of 2021, when I was orienting all of us towards the Mahabharata, the original name is Jaya. And if one follows the text, follows the script, this becomes one's Vijaya. That I may have been born with fear, but I've died nirbhayatva, fearlessly. I'm reminding all of you of this celebration of life. This is only possible when we have a celebration of living. That every day you remember and practice you are the spirit. Every day you remember and practice all inside of you and outside of you is divine. Chapter 7, verse 1. There is an emphasis on not the jiva, but rather Ishvara. What is important for us to evolve is Ishvara's kripa, that is grace. And the one who's understanding and appreciating this, they're evolving their lifestyle from karma yoga to bhakti yoga, to be more devoted, to love more. The less mature one is, the more one focuses on me, the individuality. As one matures, they focus on not the individuality, but family, we. And I commented yesterday, my observation is those with large families, or I'll say very large families, and very small families, this is where their maturity ends, with we. They live for family because that's all they know. They're in their family, they're talking about their family, they're thinking about their family. But those who are exposed to community, like Meaningful Mornings, they mature from me to we to he. Capital H E. He. From Jiva to Ishvara. From my effort to his effort. This is what is shared in verse 1. In verse 2, what is inhibiting us is how we're living, and specifically how we're learning. We learn through paroksha. That means para aksha. Aksha means your eyes or perception. Para means another's. Another's perception, another's perspective, which means it's not yours. It's not personal. We also live and learn through pratyaksha. This is prati aksha. Aksha again means eyes or perception. Prati means what's right in front of you. So this is your own perception, your own perspective, but that is through the equipments, body, breath, mind, intellect, which is still not you, correct? Our perception is very wrong in terms of optical illusions and so on. We have normalized living and learning like this, which is why we chase after the secular, because paroksha, pratyaksha, it's all indirect. It's all objective sciences. So we chase after this. And if we just slowed down and asked ourselves, can this make me joyous? Can this help me feel joy? Your answer will be no. I don't want to be indirectly joyous. I want to be directly, the word I commonly use is independently joyous. And so to do so, we have to be more authentic and deep from jnana to vijnana. Vishesha, special, extraordinary, personal. And this means a reduction in investing in your nama and rupa. Less about your name and form, because this isn't about me, it's about he. It's not about you. It's about Sri Krishna. By practicing this, we start to feel, I am not a name and form, I am existence, awareness, Satchit. And this feeling is one of ananda or joy. This is to be normalized. This purpose, this practice. In summary, vichara. Reflect more. Vichara equals vijnana. If you reflect, this becomes personal. If you don't reflect, what are you really doing? Deflecting then, correct? Depersonalizing this, making this indirect. This is all now beautifully captured in a famous, inspiring verse, number 3. There's almost a quantitative analysis because we like measurables, comparisons. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. By show of hands, how many of you have come across this reference before? Okay. I like being with all of you because Bhagavad Gita is so new to most of you. That means you're more open to this, and it makes it easier for me to teach. Manushyanam, amongst humans, how many? Sahasreshu. Amongst 1,000 humans, kaschit, there is one, yatati siddhaye, there is one who's striving, who is sensitive that there is more to life than what they're doing, what they're feeling. Among 1,000 searchers, because everyone is a searcher, there is one seeker. So just in this community, there's 100 of us. So out of 100,000 searchers, 100 seekers have gathered to be with Sri Krishna. Why such attrition? We, and I'm not saying you, but let's say society. Society does not pursue freedom because society does not feel they are bound. If I don't feel limited, why would I live for limitlessness? And specifically, it's because we feel we are the mind. If you're cranky right now and I ask you, who are you? You're going to start saying, I'm this thought and that thought and that thought. And if I feel I'm the mind, that also means I feel I'm the sense organs. My mind is simply the boss of my ears, of my tongue. And what are the sense organs always trying to do? Engage the sense objects. Now we have free access to that, correct? You can eat what you want, you can watch what you want, you can listen to what you want. So really, you're already free, isn't it? Then why seek? Shared in another way, in all of our secular pursuits, from our professions to the construction of our home, to even our relationships, we can succeed in all of this without knowing the self. Yes? I don't have to be enlightened to be an architect. I don't have to be enlightened to have children. So since I can succeed in what is normal to me, then living for the self is really not normal. Aren't you labeled a strange person? Especially those who are younger. What's wrong with you? I know a lot of you face challenges, specifically with your families. They may be searchers, but you are a seeker. And so some of your family members, they don't encourage you to seek. How did they do this? By being passive aggressive with you. How many of you experienced this? Lots. Some of you, unfortunately, your family members, it's not that they don't encourage you, they don't allow you to seek. They're not passive aggressive with you. They're aggressive with you. That you're not allowed to go there. You're not allowed to do this. I very much feel for you who are in such a position because I am not. My parents wanted me to go to the Vedanta course, my wife and children. They're sacrificing so I can dedicate myself to this. Just because your family is not encouraging you or not allowing you doesn't mean you're not a seeker, because this seeking doesn't happen outside. The seeking happens within. Yatatam api siddhanam. Among these 1,000 seekers who are trying to be siddha, evolved, who are trying to be peaceful, kaschit mam veti tattvataha. Amongst these 1,000 seekers, there is one who knows me. And knowing here means is being me. So if you analyze this out, 1 in a million is being with Sri Krishna. Lots sing about him, lots offer puja to him, but it is only 1 in a million, 1,000 times 1,000, who is him. I was discussing this verse with my mother, and she had read a commentary where a great teacher has shared it's 1 in 3 million. So as I reflect on this, in the province that I live in, I think the population is around 9 million. That means there's only 3 people who are enlightened in this entire province. They're probably in meaningful mornings right now. They want to hear what is being said about them. Lots more to share about this verse. And I told you that this is a verse of inspiration. It is describing you. You are at least 1 in 1,000, at least, at minimum. But I feel that you're much higher. I'm not going to be overly generous and say you're 1 in a million, because I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm a factual speaker. But I know that you're working towards being 1 in a million. We'll revisit this again. From inspiration to application. Your application yesterday was, why do you make knowledge indirect? Knowledge is direct. Someone tells me smoking causes cancer. Me knowing that, I slow down smoking. I stop smoking, correct? There's a direct impact on me. We make this indirect, and you're welcome to share your observations, because we're so entangled in the secular, in the objective. That's all we learn about. So we don't know how to learn about that which is subjective, that which is sacred. And thus, so much of what we're doing is unlearning. That's why we find this to be difficult. Your application for this morning, I want you to reflect deeply on this verse. Every verse you should, but this verse particularly in reference to your family. To be sensitive to their passive aggressiveness, to their aggressiveness. What are you doing about that? Are you still seeking? How are you still seeking? Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.